Welcome back to the I Don't Care podcast. This is episode 3. I am here with Kent. How are you today, Kent?
Yeah, I'm good. Loki caught me off guard with the intro, but yeah, I'm good. It's been hard, but whatever.
Yeah. Alright, so today we're gonna talk about the NBA, right?
Yeah, one of the few things I'm knowledgeable about. You saw did you watch the games yesterday? Charlotte versus Lakers?
I didn't watch all the games. I didn't watch a lot of the games, actually. What I will say about the Hornets, though, like, as a whole, this is not what I expected from them. Like, overall, this entire season, though, like, if we're talking about the season, like, I knew LaMelo was probably going to be good, but not, like, straight out of the gate like this good. Like, and Charlotte's what, like the 5 seed, I think?
Yeah, it's honestly like remarkable. As soon as LaMelo's giving the starting role, he's putting up basically all-star numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I know a lot of people wanted to hate on him in the beginning, but this is proving everyone wrong and proving all the LaMelo lovers right. So
yeah, I mean he's damn near like getting a lot of triple doubles as like a starter. He's been one of the he's probably gonna be what the Hornets are gonna use to rebuild around for like the next 5 years, obviously. But I mean, at this point, like the 5 seed for Charlotte is just something that I don't think many rookies could do that. So I feel like LaMelo has a really bright future in the league.
Yeah, it's just I can see them building around LaMelo. Hopefully, it's not like he's not going to burn out. He's played so many years professionally, so I'm assuming it's kind of like a Luka effect where he had a professional experience already, so he's kind of already carrying that over to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's really valuable to have like any sort of like international experience, because like, I mean, if we saw like Luka, he already has very close to like a Hall of Fame resume. He already has like all these international achievements, and he's like a 2-time All-Star and Rookie of the Year, so he's almost a lock for the Hall of Fame. As for LaMelo, I mean, he doesn't have too many international achievements, but I do think like he's had like a pretty good career outside of the United States, and I mean, I think that really helps generate like a person's talent, really.
Yeah, the main thing I wanted to talk about though today was the All-Star game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know your opinions on the game because I feel very strongly about the game this year.
To be honest, I don't think there should have been a game. Because I mean, it's not like it gives like a small like break for players, so to like recover. But I just feel like it puts too much pressure on players that are in the All-Star game. They could get injured in the All-Star game, which is obviously a horrible thing to happen. Another thing is like, COVID protocol and stuff. That's going to affect the All-Star game and the players that would get into the All-Star game too. Like AD got out, they replaced him with Devin Booker. Devin Booker had an injury too. They replaced him with Mike Conley. KD was out, Sabonis was replacing him. There were a lot of injuries and COVID issues that kind of impacted the game. So it wasn't really what I expected it to be, obviously, because of the injured players. But I think, like, I really don't think there should have been an All-Star game.
Honestly, you made some great points about injuries, but I feel like it's the complete opposite for me. When a player gets knocked to the All-Star game, I just loved watching last year's game. When, Kobe unfortunately passed away, the game that year was the most competitive it's ever been since I started watching basketball, and it was so amazing to watch. They named their award the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP, and they played like they had that Kobe mentality. They all wanted to win. And this year, there is no reason for it to be called the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP because there was no mentality to win at all. Just to play and have fun.
Yeah, and like that's not really what I like in an All-Star game. I really like when like players could like compete. And you know, like Kobe himself, his mentality was to win, all right? You don't play the game just to play it, all right? He plays to win every single time. That's why he scored 81 in a game. Like that's just insane. Okay? And I don't really think they embodied that type of spirit either. So, I mean, just because Kobe sadly passed away last year and they started to play well because he passed away last year. But now this year, since it's been over a year, like they didn't really carry over that same exact kind of mentality to this game. And I didn't really like that, to be honest.
Yeah, and then you saw all the aspects of the All-Star game fell off except for the three-point contest. I mean, the skills challenges is kind of that's always been a joke. No one really tries in that. And then you saw the dunk contest. Hopefully, I mean that was even more of a joke than it's ever been recently. There are three rookies. Three rookies are in the dunk contest. All of which were not that great dunkers compared to last year. With Aaron Gordon, Derrick Jones Jr., that was too good last year.
That was a robbery last year. I think we can all agree on that. Aaron Gordon should have won.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this dunk contest was horrible. Like, it's fine to have, like, rookies. I think Kobe participated in the dunk contest as a rookie. Donovan Mitchell, too. So it's fine, I guess, to have rookies, but like at this level, like it didn't really seem like they were trying at all. Like these dunks were so simple. Like Flight would probably do them by June, honestly.
Yeah, so Anthony Simons, he won the dunk contest by pretending to kiss the rim, and he didn't even get that close, really.
I mean. Like, I get that's kind of creative, but, like, it's not, like, good, I guess. Like...
Yeah, did they give him a 50 for that? If they did, that's ridiculous.
I don't know what score they gave for that, but honestly, yeah, like, I mean, comparing this dunk contest with, like, almost any other dunk contest, this dunk contest almost always loses, like...
Yeah, there's no way this goes up with anything. Usually the dunk contest is something I look forward to. I know for a fact I'm never going to look back at this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a couple years ago with Donovan Mitchell, I enjoyed that one. The one with Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon basically trading 50s. That was really, really exciting to watch. But goddamn, bro. I get it's like limited time too because it was like halftime of the All-Star game, but still, bro.
Yeah. One other thing I felt a little bit in contention now before the MVP. Before Joel Embiid, did he get injured? I heard he got injured.
Yeah, I think it was like a knee injury or something.
Yeah, he got a knee injury, and it's putting him out of a lot of games now. So before he was kind of seen like close to, or if not like a lock for MVP. You know, carrying 76ers, the whole 76ers organization doing very well. And now that he's injured, talks of Kyrie, Harden, CP3, like some other players' names are being brought up. I don't really see how you can, give me your opinion, but I don't see how you can say Kyrie or Harden would win MVP.
I mean, honestly, Harden's been playing incredible, but I just don't see the argument for him winning MVP, obviously, because, I mean, while the Nets are really good, I mean, they have a big three, and it's not like, you know, the Heat from, like, 2012 when LeBron won MVP, it's not like that team where other players took, like, a step back. I mean, Kyrie's been playing well, KD's been out sometimes, but he's been playing well, and Harden's been playing well. They've all been playing pretty... I mean, Harden's probably the best player on that team, but they've been playing pretty equally for the most part. I just don't see a scenario with Harden winning the MVP.
Yeah, especially since there are two MVPs on that team. Like already, KD and Harden. And Kyrie, I mean, and with discussions about it, I mean, might as well call him an MVP at this point. Too many good players on one team, all of which, yeah, you said, are doing phenomenal, so you can't really call one of them an MVP for the team or for the league. So, going on to CP3, I was talking to you about this earlier, but CP3, though he's not putting up, like, numbers, he has sort of the intangibles for his team, and he brought that team up with Devin Booker to success. They're doing a lot better compared to last season.
Yeah, I mean, I really think CP3 should be an MVP consideration at the very least. Like, sure, he's not putting up, like, all these numbers, but as you said, like, he's putting up those intangible things that we need from players. So, like a long time ago, Bill Russell won a lot of MVPs, although his stats were inferior to someone like Wilt Chamberlain's. But he won those MVPs because of his impact on the court with defense and his impact to a positive team record. So the same thing goes with like CP3. So someone like Jokic, I mean, he's a great player, no question about that. But the Nuggets aren't doing too well. They're around like the 7th seed in the West, whereas CP3 is taking the Suns, who had like a good bubble run last year, but they still missed the playoffs. He's taking that team to the 2nd seed in the West. And although they lost to the Timberwolves yesterday, I think CP3 should be at least in like talks to be the MVP. I agreed with the fact that he had to be an All-Star this year. Without that, I don't think the Suns really would. Without him, the Suns wouldn't be where they are right now. To be honest, like if I were to make a dark horse pick, I think the Suns would be my dark horse finals pick.
Finals.
Yeah.
That's a really dark horse pick. I mean, I don't know. I can't see from the West. I still can't see anyone besides the Lakers going to the finals.
I mean, Lakers have LeBron, obviously. Like that seems like the team to pick. And for
LeBron and AD versus like CP3 and Devin Booker.
Ayton's been playing well too. Mikal Bridges is a great defensive player. But overall, like if I'm gonna pick like normally, like the safe pick would probably be Lakers Nets. But if I'm gonna pick like a dark horse pick, it would probably be Suns and Bucks. Honestly. Because Devin Booker and Chris Paul, that's a good duo, but Chris Paul has been he has all of those intangibles to lead his team to a championship. And then Giannis has been playing like a lot better, I think. Like I really feel like he can make a run to the finals this time. What are your thoughts on like your prediction? I just want to hear like your predictions for the finals.
I don't know. There are a lot of talks of the Celtics getting an actual big man. I just saw recently John Collins. I don't really like that pick. John Collins has nothing on defense at all. I saw someone else. Not Nerlens Noel. Let me check. Someone else, but it was a way better defensive player. That would have been better. But the Celtics, if they get a big man, like a real like defensive lockdown big man, then I feel like they could make a run or like fix their record at least, go deep in the playoffs. But right now, I'd say, though Atlanta is surprising, staying positive, I'd say, Bucks from the East, Bucks or Nets, and Lakers or Clippers. Clippers are still being a little disappointing, considering that they have Kawhi and PG. But at least compared to the Suns and the Jazz, who are doing phenomenal. But yeah, Lakers or Clippers out of the West, and the Bucks and the Nets out of the East.
To be honest, bro, I have no faith in the Clippers at all. Because what they've done is basically build around like a bunch of 3-and-D guys, and I don't. That's not good enough to win a championship.
Yeah, I just see your point, but I like to take a little bit of risk. it's hard to explain, but I do see like a bit of a future in the Clippers if they decide to pick up the right guys from free agency. Right now, yeah, it's too much 3-and-D. They should switch up who they have, but not much they can do now.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this might be like the last year for the Clippers. Honestly, I don't know if Kawhi's gonna sign an extension with that team. I don't think he really would like to. I'm not sure about that. But
Actually, I also heard a rumor that. Did you see? I saw LeVar Ball said that Lonzo Ball does not like the Pelicans.
I mean, I know LeVar is gonna say that, like, because he's LeVar.
No, but the thing is, immediately after he said that, the next day I saw trade talks of the Clippers going after Lonzo Ball.
I mean, I don't think it would be definitely good for the Clippers to have Lonzo Ball, but I mean, I don't think LeVar would say that Lonzo likes the Clippers either. Considering,
No, it's LA, remember?
well, yeah, but considering that LeVar is a Laker fan, I don't think LeVar would like Lonzo on the Clippers. I mean, he said that he wanted Lonzo to go to Phoenix, like before the AD trade. So I don't really think LeVar would like Lonzo to go to the Clippers either. I mean, because they're crosstown rivals, really.
Yeah. The only place I'd like Lonzo to be at besides the Pelicans is with his brother in Charlotte. That chemistry would be amazing to watch.
I'd love to see that. I mean,
They'd be throwing alley-oops just like they were in high school to each other.
absolutely, like that'd be great to watch. Like, I mean, it's sad that we never got to see like Pau Gasol and Marc Gasol on the same team. I mean, a lot of times like this doesn't really happen, but like I'd like to see Lonzo and LaMelo on the same team. Two definitely good, probably great players in the future. Teaming up, that'd be as brothers too. That'd be great.
Speaking of the rookies, we talked about Lonzo Ball, but I want to talk about the the overall pick, Anthony Edwards. He's picking up. In the beginning of the season, he wasn't doing that great, and now he just put up 42 points.
Yeah.
So that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's great for him. I mean, I thought that he should have been the number one pick. I think a lot of people also predicted that he was going to be the number one pick. I'm not really sure about his potential because he has like these on and off games. So I'm not too sure how good he will be. But overall, I think like, I mean, that wasn't too bad of a pick for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing they didn't pick another. It's like the Kings. They just picked a ton of big men, like a ton of centers for no reason. They ruined their picks, and as a Timberwolves fan, since like day one, it's been painful to watch the Timberwolves pick players like Ricky Rubio in front of Steph Curry. And now we finally have someone who is a genuinely good pick at number one, a safe pick, and hopefully we can see the talent from the number one pick come through, like how LaMelo's number two pick talent is coming through very strong right now for Charlotte. Hopefully that's the same for Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I wish the best for him as well, and I really hope that like he becomes a star. I feel like, I mean, if Minnesota can build around him more effectively, I guess like then they could be a contender in like, I don't know, like 5 or so years. But it'll take some time, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna build around him per se, because Cat is still very young. Maybe he's like 22, 23. So I think Cat is still the future for the Timberwolves until maybe Anthony Edwards reaches his prime. But that's going to be a while. So I think Cat right now is going to be the future, unless they decide to do something stupid and trade him. But I doubt they'll do that.
I don't know. Like, has Cat signed like an extension with the Wolves? Because I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, because they haven't done anything really to help Cat since he's been in the Timberwolves, or anything they've done. They got Jimmy Butler. We don't talk about Jimmy Butler on the Timberwolves. That's not a very good situation there. But I don't think they've done anything with Cat. Let me check if they've signed any extensions.
Because like, I mean, like, with the era that we're in now, like, players are gonna leave teams if they get that opportunity. If they think that team is terrible at management, they're gonna leave. Like, that's happened so many times. LeBron with Cleveland, KD with Oklahoma City, Paul George from the Pacers to the Thunder, and then right now I think he's good. Kawhi with the Spurs. So I'm not exactly like, I don't know if Cat would like to stay in Minnesota. That's tough.
Yeah, actually, I just searched up. Cat actually has a 5-year, $190 million supermax contract from September 2018.
So I
So
mean,
he's locked in.
yeah. Okay, so that's great for Minnesota, but you have like what,
Yeah.
2 years though? That's tough too, because like, you don't have much time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because like, I mean, this happened with like KG too. Like,
Actually, based off the seeds right now in the West, Minnesota is the last seed, number 15. They have the worst record in the league. So if it keeps going like this, maybe Minnesota is going for that tank.
I mean, at this point, like, as a Timberwolves fan, like, what do you think is the best option for them to do? Like, sign players
I mean,
or
I don't. They've tried. They've tried signing players. I think at this point, the tank method it has to go through. They got one number one pick. They have Cat already. If they get another one, they have a young core that can just last. It may be a dynasty depending on who they pick up. I'm not really like fresh with knowledge on who's the new prospects, but if they get a good pick, then things would look good. Otherwise, they can just try and rely on management to get free agents, but has not worked out in the past at all. So I'd say rely on the draft, tank for the pick, and get the pick.
I mean, if I were a Timberwolves fan, I probably would have said the same thing. It's kind of like, I mean, I kind of feel bad for you. Because
It's not much that
yeah.
I've tolerated this for so long. It's not. That's when I'm happy we have Anthony Edwards. I get to see highlights after so long.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been tough so far. Hopefully, I hope like the Timberwolves are able to get like some decent prospects from the draft this year. I think like some of the best prospects like Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley. I don't know a lot of prospects for the NBA, but I think like if you can get like one of those guys, I mean, you might be set for the future. But couple of things that I think are kind of wrong with Minnesota. The management has always been an issue, really, and like also the fact like, all right, so I think y'all have found like gems in the draft, like occasionally, like Kevin Garnett. You got him in like 95, I think, and then Kevin Love in 2008, and then Karl Anthony Towns, and there really hasn't been like many other players. Like if many other players that they've like kept, like they could have kept Ray Allen. That would have been a nasty combo between him and Kevin Garnett, and I would have loved to see that. But it's really kind of tough. I guess being a Timberwolves fan, I kind of feel bad. But also, I mean, I guess you have a good future ahead. Like Cat is developing wonderfully. Anthony Edwards, I'm not completely sure about him. He might be a great player. He may also that's kind of tough to decide. And then you have a good pick in this year's draft. So I think overall, if management improves for Minnesota, I think y'all will be fine. But first, management has to improve. So yeah.
So speaking on pick, I think the management, Timberwolves, it just needs to change right away. So you thought the Timberwolves did not have bad picks. I want to tell you that the Timberwolves in 2010 drafted Wesley Johnson at the number 4 pick.
Over DeMarcus Cousins, I think, was number 5, right?
Yes. Yes, that happened.
And then obviously, the Steph Curry draft and that.
Yeah, that Johnny Flynn. They picked Johnny Flynn at number 6.
And Ricky Rubio, too, so.
And they picked 2 guards in front of Curry. The management needs to change. Everything needs to change from the GM down.
I mean, I'm 100% with you on that. Like,
it's not much I can do there. But
also, one thing that I will say, although the Timberwolves haven't been too good this year, the Houston Rockets haven't won a game. The last time they won a game, Tom Brady had 6 Super Bowl championships. So, I guess that's something to look forward to. Like, I mean, you probably won't be worse than the Rockets.
I thought it was John Wall, Victor Oladipo, and Christian Wood. I'll be solid enough to win more games, but I guess not.
I mean, Achilles
John Wall
tear,
did get injured.
Yeah, the Achilles tear, that basically destroys a person's career a lot of times. And then, with Christian Wood's been playing pretty damn well. But Oladipo also had another injury, like with the Pacers. I don't know which one it was. But a bunch of injuries. I just don't really think that works out.
Honestly, at this rate, I feel like they're going to trade Christian Wood. I feel like they're going to trade all of them for picks. Because I know for a fact they're not going to build around Christian Wood. They're not going to build around that. So I think they're going into full real rebuild mode. As soon as they send Harden away, I think they realize that they're going to try to get the most they can out of Christian Wood, see him play phenomenally, raise the draft stock, and then send him away.
Yeah, I think that's probably like that seems like best for Houston too. Like I don't have anything like against Christian Wood. I don't think he's a great player to build around though, because he's good, but he's not gonna take you like over the top like James Harden or yeah. So I just really don't think it's a great move.
I think Christian Wood. I could see him fitting somewhere like the Suns, where they need like a solid like backup big man. They don't really have one. They have DeAndre Ayton. I don't think they have another person behind him. Jackson Hayes is the Pelicans.
You could honestly go to like Dallas too. I mean, like with Porzingis being in and out, like Christian Wood would probably be a good fit on the Mavericks too.
Yeah, those teams that are there are but slightly. The Suns are slightly disappointing, but the Mavericks are. If they just get that one player, they can just go right over the top.
Well, yeah, I mean. And speaking of, like, the Mavericks, like, I expected them to do a bit better this year, but right now they've been, like, playing really well recently. That's one of the teams that I've been paying attention to, because, I like, Luka is one of my favorite players in the NBA right now. But, like, okay, so right now they're, like, the 8th seed, and they probably could knock off the Utah Jazz, honestly, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, they could. If they went at each other right now, 8 versus 1, we could see another like a Warriors type moment, like where they just knock out the first seed. Because if Porzingis is healthy, and so far Luka, if he stays healthy, which I'm pretty sure he will, those two themselves they they could put the Mavericks on top. Because right now we see the Jazz, they have 5 really good players. They don't have a single star on that team though. So if one of them has a bad game, the whole offense or defense just will go down significantly. Because each one of them plays an essential role on the team. And you don't see that with basically any other team in the NBA. If one player goes down, you have someone, unless it's a star that goes down, you have someone to replace that player on the roster, unlike the Jazz.
So, talking about like the future and like regarding the Jazz, do you think we'll ever see like a team like the Pistons in 2004? Do you think we'll ever see a team without a certified superstar win a championship in like the years to come?
The Pistons in 2004, that's a pretty good team. It's still kind of surprising how they were able to get that far, but they got the championship nonetheless. Very respectable. I doubt we'll ever see a team build like that. If you look at the Jazz, I don't think they meant to build their team like that. I think they're expecting Donovan Mitchell to be like a bona fide star, and he just hasn't done that this year. I expect him to do it in the future because he's been very great. It's very beginning years for him. But yeah, people like Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, he's not a star. He's a lockdown defender, and he does that very well. Joe Ingles is a shooting kind of guy. You have Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. You have people just lined up, ready to drop 15, 20 points a game if you really need them to. They'll do what you need them to, and not more, not less. And that's not the type of stuff that will win championships anymore because of the concept of big threes. Everywhere you go, every team you look, they're trying to get that third guy, that third star, to just bring their team up to the top. And the Utah Jazz don't have a star. They have a ton of really good guys. Look at the Lakers, they won the championship last year. You see LeBron and AD. And that's only 2 stars on the team, but 2 of the best stars in the league, arguably at that time, LeBron and AD. You look at the Nets, you have Harden, Kyrie, KD. They're bringing up even more talent. DeAndre Jordan, though he's a little washed up, he's still a solid defender, inside guy. Blake Griffin, also a little bit washed up, but is a solid guy still. Joe Ingles is still there. We have a lot of depth there in the Nets and the 3 stars that they need. So I doubt the Utah Jazz are a regular season type of team. They'll win regular season games, but at this rate, everyone's not aiming for the regular season. They're aiming for that chip. And a lot of other teams are set for that, the Utah Jazz aren't.
I mean, I'd agree with you on that point. Because like seriously, like with the star structure in the NBA right now, like everyone is looking to everyone's trying to lure free agents in. Like with the Lakers are probably gonna try to lure Kawhi in this time. Big market teams are obviously going to try to get like big name free agents. Everyone's just trying to get like a star, and I mean, like no one really builds through the draft anymore. No one really builds through like many trades anymore. Like it's not like that. That's not what the NBA is about anymore. It's mostly about like who can get like the best team, in the shortest amount of time. That's how like the Warriors won, 3 championships with a very good team. And I don't think we'll ever see something like... I don't think we'll see a 2004 Pistons team. Yeah, it's just not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, that era of basketball is gone completely. It's a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, it's very exciting to watch in games. Watching LeBron and AD, watching KD, Kyrie, Harden, these guys just... full of teams, it makes it fun, but loses a bit of competitiveness. If you see the Nets go against the Hawks, I mean, if you ever see a game like that, you're not really gonna watch. You're gonna know the outcome from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, like, it's almost over from when it starts, and it's kind of sad. Like, that's the case. Like, the only way that some of these teams can be beaten is either through terrible chemistry or injuries. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of sad to see, like, the era of like building kind of like smaller teams and trying to win a championship with like a balanced team. It's really kind of sad that we don't see that anymore. But I think we really have to appreciate like the types of games like that these super teams give us. Like the Warriors in 2017, 2018, they were by far the greatest team probably ever assembled. Yet like I mean if you turned on the TV, like they were really exciting to watch. Even though you knew the result from basically like the beginning, like you loved watching them because of like how good they were, because of how like the beautiful basketball they played too. So I mean, it's unfortunate that we won't see like a team like the 2004 Pistons or like the 2011 Mavericks win. But it is fun to see some super teams play.
So yeah, you're basically saying like it's about the journey. Like you just want to see the game, you want to see the highlights, you want to have fun watching the game, right?
I mean, yeah, kind of, but I also like. I mean, to be honest, I miss the fact that there aren't that many superstars who kind of try to get there on their own. Like Giannis is one of those people, but like there are very few stars that try to like win a championship on their own, and I really respect those that go ahead and take the initiative to try and win on their own. But at this point, like I can't really blame any superstars for like to go, like superstars who go to different teams and try to win a championship. It is really about the journey though as a whole. Like as an NBA fan, I think like as long as you're enjoying the highlights, you really shouldn't be too disappointed about like the results.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And Giannis, there's almost no incentive for him to stay besides like the hate he would get if he left. If you look at other players, KD, he's more than willing to leave. And I think one player, I don't know why I'm blanking out on his name. One player said that he wanted to. Oh yeah, it was KD himself. He said that he wanted to go to the Nets to earn like a championship, like on his own. And look what happened when he got there.
I mean,
the exact opposite. I saw a tweet from him. It was like some other guy was like, "KD, what happened to like earning your chip?" And he said, "What was the difference between these two tweets?" He's like, "Nothing. The time and date." So he's basically said that like, "Yeah, I understand. I'm just kind of going for the chip."
I mean, yeah, I mean, we love like storybook endings, like with the 2011 Mavericks. That's one of my favorite teams of all time, even though I never watched them play. Like we love storybook endings. We love seeing teams that like you don't expect to win the chip, winning the championship, especially after like years of hard work and adversity that they've had to face. But at this point, again, like you can't really blame superstars for joining teams, and I really don't think joining like super teams would have any sort of effect on a player's legacy anymore.
Yeah, I guess the whole like stereotype around joining a super team kind of wore down over the years. Like our earlier times we saw was Miami Heat, Boston Celtics. Like after that, we just kept seeing it build and build, and I feel like most NBA fans are used to it. But it is a bit disappointing. But we're never gonna see it go away at this point.
Yeah. So we talked about like the Jazz and the Suns and a bunch of other teams. So in the East, I guess like this might be our last topic. So in the East, we see like the Heat, the Hawks, the Knicks, the Hornets, the Celtics, the Bulls, the Pacers, and the Raptors all vying for like a playoff spot at like towards the end. So which teams do you think will most likely get that spot? And which teams are you like the most surprised about? I guess in the Eastern Conference.
The Hawks are incredibly surprising. Charlotte, incredibly surprising. The Knicks, quite possibly, it's almost a miracle that they're a 7th seed. Everyone else on this list, I mean, it's disappointing to see the Raptors and the Wizards that low. Everyone else seems like they should be in the place that they earned. The Hawks, Trae Young, I've not been paying attention to the Hawks recently, but it must be Trae Young, John Collins are doing very well down there. The Hornets, all the media's eyes are on the Hornets and LaMelo Ball, so I've heard everything about them. The Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, he's doing very well. Everyone else, I mean, the head coach is doing some very weird stuff with the minute managing of like Obi Toppin and all the other players. Julius Randle doing a stellar performance there in New York. The Celtics. I want you to talk about the Celtics, honestly, because they're very disappointing in my eyes right now.
Well, yeah, same. Like, the Celtics last year were like the second or third seed. And honestly, I mean, it's really surprising that they've gotten here. Yeah, they've had like injuries with Kemba Walker, but they have 2 All-Stars in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum who are putting up pretty good numbers. And I mean, some of it has to be with like the fact that they don't have like a solid big man, and Brad Stevens playing like Grant Williams over Robert Williams and his time management and his like rotations. But overall, like as a whole, I think the entire Celtics team has to like really take the blame here. I don't think an 8 seed, like and a finish at like the 8th spot is respectable at all for Boston. Like, this was a team that went to the conference finals. This was a team that like some people picked to make it to the NBA championship. And I mean, like, they were pretty close to get there too. They were a Bam block away and another game away to make it to the NBA championship last year. And honestly, it's really surprising that they've been this bad. Like, my first surprise of the season, like, earlier on, was the Miami Heat being a finalist and being, like, under 500. But now they've, like, rebounded really well from what happened last time. And right now they're sitting at the 4th seed. But the Celtics, like, this is just something that I can't believe. Like, I mean...
Yeah, it's probably ridiculous to see the Celtics at 8. And, yeah, Miami Heat, everyone was saying in the beginning, like, oh, what's going on? You guys are the finalists, and now you're way below 500, and now they're 22-19. Reasonable record. Still kind of low for finalists, but they picked it up very nicely, and I expect them to... The last 10 games that they played, they were 8-2. So I'm only expecting that to go up. Boston Celtics aren't picking it up. They're still 20-20 and one 5 out of 10. So they're not boosting their record at all. And I really don't see them going much higher. Yeah, and that's sad to say. And they don't have that big man. Kemba Walker is getting injured. I understand Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 2 All-Stars, but yeah, I guess at this point, injuries. You mentioned the coach, Brad Stevens, not managing the minutes as nicely as we want to see. It's really just the organization and injuries that are hurting them right now. And Toronto, we saw Kawhi leave last season, and now we're seeing effects. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't understand why they've dropped down so low. OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, they do not have a star on their team. Kyle Lowry, he's 34 years old now, so not much he can do.
They don't have like a star on their team, but like, is it really the Kawhi effect though? I think it really has to do with like Pascal Siakam, like, not kind of transitioning well from the regular season into the playoffs. Like, he had pretty bad playoffs. And ever since then, he's not been that good anymore. And, I mean, like, I hope he rebounds from this. The Raptors have lost 6 straight games and have won 2 of their last 10. And, like, that's just really surprising to me. Even though they have, like, a positive point differential, which is kind of shocking. They're 17-23. They're out of the playoffs by, like, a good bit of games, too. Like 3 games, and like it's just really surprising to see like a Toronto team like this, which got the 2nd seed last year and took the Celtics to 7 games, be this bad. I mean, like, no offense to Toronto, but like it's really kind of surprising, shocking, really.
Yes. It's kind of ridiculous. Maybe I don't really know the specifics on the Raptors. I don't follow them that closely, but I guess their team needs to step it up. Cleveland, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. I loved Colin Sexton in his rookie year, even though he didn't put up amazing numbers. I just knew that I had a gut feeling that he would do very well, and he's picking me up. Him and Darius Garland. And we were playing fantasy basketball early last year, and it's still going on. Darius Garland picked it up very well, and we see that in his in-game numbers as well. The entire organization, despite not having many players, they got Jared Allen, they have Larry Nance Jr., they have Darius Garland, they have Colin Sexton, Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, who they're going to trade soon, I'm assuming. They have decent pieces. Obviously not enough to really contend for anything, but decent pieces for the future. They could really do something even without LeBron James.
Yeah. So I think Cleveland could do something, but first of all, they got to get rid of Andre Drummond. He's not like a positive on that team, and we can see that. But right now they're 15-25. They could do something, but like, I hope it's not like a limbo kind of situation for them, like being in and out of the playoffs eventually. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, as you said, have been doing incredibly good. I think if they can get like one more piece in the draft, they could probably be like a top tier team in the Eastern Conference. A thing that I'd like to say about the Knicks, I'd really love to see them beat Brooklyn. As toxic as Knicks fans are, I'd love to see them beat the Nets. I'd love to see that because, I mean, if KD, Kyrie, and James Harden all went to the Nets and the team right across them with no real superstar, just an all-star really, if that team were to beat the Nets, that'd be incredible. Like, it would be so funny too. Like,
yeah, especially since KD and Kyrie were rumored to go to the Knicks. They went to the Nets instead. Imagine if the Knicks beat them. That would be hilarious to watch. But I really doubt that would happen.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Yeah, I think we've. You can go.
Just one more point, really. A lot of people have been saying that Giannis could probably three-peat as an MVP this year. What do you think about that?
Actually, looking at their seed right now, looking at the team, you don't really see anyone else besides Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. They just got PJ Tucker. I don't know how much that's gonna help, but his shoe collection may help team morale, I guess. But PJ Tucker, decent on the Rockets, was a big man because they didn't have another big man. Dante DiVincenzo doing all right. I mean, they have solid pieces, but clearly Giannis is putting them way over the top. I can see a point for Giannis, but knowing how the NBA works, there's no way they're going to give a three-peat MVP to Giannis.
I mean, yeah, I agree. They're probably not going to give it to him, but I think he deserves it, especially if the Bucks get like the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Because, I mean, it's either him or LeBron if we're going with like consistent MVP criteria, and Embiid, but like Embiid got injured, obviously. So overall, I mean, the MVP race is going to be really interesting this year. It's going to be fun to watch, but it's going to make a lot of people mad. Seeing like, if their candidate doesn't win, it's going to be exciting, and I think the playoffs are going to bring the same level of excitement as well.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen so many MVP candidates and so many that could genuinely win. That's why, yeah, as you were saying, people could get mad, and I understand why.
Yeah. So overall, is there like anything else that you'd like to bring up about the NBA?
No, I think we covered up everything. No loose ends. We got everything done.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for being on this podcast, Kent. I think I'll get this video up by about either today or tomorrow. But thank you so much, man. But
yeah, no problem. I love doing this podcast, and I'll be looking forward to listening to it later.